So, I'm sort of a considerable amount of evidence and statistics have been presented by scientists on all sides of this debate. Is global warming just a cyclical phenomenon, or is the CO2 that humans are putting into the atmosphere to blame? Or is global warming just a bunch of shenanigans? Either way, a considerable debate among the scientists of today remains very much at hand. According to an article titled "Scientists have not determined the exact cause of global warming."
What happened last night?
God, it was 10:40.
My opinion is that no matter what we do, we need to do something. Every day trees are being cut down and ice caps are slowly melting, causing animals to die. This needs to change. All these things are affecting seasons according to the Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth movement. This is also changing when animals are hatching eggs. This may be a cycle or caused by humans, but regardless, we need to do something. And global warming.
Alright. Speak the truth! Inspiration!
A cycle, and it's not human caused at all, and we don't really need to do anything about it. And some reasons why are because, first of all, CO2 can't be the cause, because only 39 out of 100,000 air molecules are CO2, and that's the lowest it's been. And another reason is about the Inconvenient Truth on Al Gore's movie. You can't really, it may be true, but we can't exactly be 100%. And then another thing that might be causing it is sunspots, which move around and can cause different parts of the earth to be hotter or colder, well, pretty much just hotter. And if we didn't have greenhouse gases, we would be a lot colder, and it would be we'd have to adapt for the coldness. And the greenhouse gases also stop radiation, so they're kind of saving us in a way.
Global warming.
Silence!
My doom want to speak.
Okay. So,
Charlie.
So, I think global warming is partly a natural cycle, but I also think humans are also contributing to it being so high. This is my note credit. Global warming is not just Earth's natural warming, but also humans are to blame. By going to the ice, scientists can read the CO2 level and the temperature of up to 650,000 years ago through 6 ice ages. The temperatures and CO2 levels followed a normal heating and cooling cycle, followed by a heating period and an ice age. A lot of people hypothesize that global warming is just a natural heating cycle, but the CO2 levels and temperatures now are way above the natural cycle. And statistics show that in the next 50 years, the Earth will keep warming unless we help.
This isn't just a natural part of life, including the medieval warming period and the Little Ice Age. Do you expect us to stop all production of CO2 from factories and such? People would starve, have no transportation, and lose other important things that these factories produce. We are growing in numbers, and we have to work harder to provide for ourselves. You can't just tell everyone in the world, stop having babies, because that's anarchy. And at least that's not how the U.S. works. According to Stephen F. Hayward's movie, An Inconvenient Truth, or Convenient Fiction, according to a Japan research paper, including all reports of the Arctic and Antarctica is actually gaining ice. It's gaining ice from year to year. It's not losing ice, it's gaining. In the long run, Antarctica is gaining ice. So I don't know where you guys are getting all this bogus information from, but it's obviously been telling you wrong.
Alright. Do you have a PowerPoint on your computer?
Okay, so global warming, what is it? Well, according to dictionary.com,
Global warming is an increase in the Earth's atmospheric temperature that causes corresponding change in climate that may result from the greenhouse effect. May result from the greenhouse effect. What's this greenhouse effect? Merriam-Webster.com says the greenhouse effect is a warming of the surface and lower atmosphere of the planet that is caused by conversion of solar radiation into heat. Well, what does this have to do with our planet getting warmer? The answer is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, according to Wikipedia, is a naturally occurring chemical compound composed of two oxygen atoms bound with a single carbon atom. Or in simpler terms, it's a gas in our atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is an important greenhouse gas, but the burning of fossil fuels has increased the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. Let's put two and two together. An increase in greenhouse gases makes the world warmer, and our burning fossil fuels puts out greenhouse gases, then we have our cause. Too much polluting the air with carbon dioxide is why we're experiencing climate change. And cutting down rainforests and other plants that breathe CO2 and put out oxygen certainly isn't helping. Okay. This is a graph of the rise in global temperature and CO2 concentration, and you can see that it's there. And it was fluctuating right here, but it goes a lot less as it goes up. Okay. Well, why is this a problem? What if I like warm weather? Well, global warming is a cause of disasters. Hurricanes, for example. As our planet gets warmer, so do the oceans. This warm water reacts to the cold water from melting glaciers, also due to global warming, and creates hurricanes and big ones. Hurricane Katrina, for example. Katrina was a Category 5 hurricane, the costliest hurricane in U.S. history, one of the 5 deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history. It killed 1,833 people and caused $81 billion in damage. And what about Hurricane Sandy, which happened just last year? Sandy was the second costliest hurricane, just behind Katrina. It killed 285 people and caused $74 billion in damage. Remember all the CNN student news reports we saw on it? All the people with houses destroyed or damaged? Another example of extreme weather is the heat wave we had last summer. 82 people died from heat-related causes. In Wisconsin, the highest temperature was 107 degrees. Highways buckled in 3 states, including ours. Accused of huge derecho, which if you didn't know is a long-lasting severe windstorm. The June 2012 North American derecho, as Wikipedia is calling it, was one of the deadliest thunderstorms in U.S. history and killed 22 people, caused widespread damage and power outages. These disasters were caused in part by global warming, and weather isn't the only thing happening. Global warming is melting glaciers rapidly. Like we saw in Inconvenient Truth, they're shrinking fast. Here's a picture of a glacier in Peru in 1986. See all the ice here? And then the same picture in 1999. And the ice has receded a lot. It's happening all over the world. So what can we do? Well, for one thing, we have to acknowledge it's actually happening and humans are causing it. Global warming, it's happening, people.
Start learning from what we did and show people respect as they are talking, even if you disagree with them. So Josh, whenever you are ready.
I'm sorry for talking, by the way, okay. But, okay. First off, I'm just going to say it flatly. I don't believe in global warming. I guess you can't, I guess I can't give all opinions, so I have to give some facts. The first fact is from the handout, Global Warming, What Should Be Done. It says that the surface temperature has risen by 1 degree Fahrenheit since the late 1800s. First, 1 degree in the last 130 years doesn't seem as drastic as Al Gore said in the PowerPoint. Also, 130 years in the Earth seems long for us, but really it isn't that long for the Earth. Also, there are no temperature readings before 1880. Why Al Gore went back 10,000 years, I don't know, but scientists are making projections of what the temperature was 10,000 years ago. So how do we know what it was? Also, surveys say that if the temperature rises 2 degrees Celsius, which is about 4 degrees Fahrenheit, the oceans will rise and stuff. But it took 130 years to rise 1 degree, and that's a big if. And it took 130 years to rise 1 degree, and it's going to take a long time if it keeps on going on to rise 4 degrees. It took 130 years to rise 1 degree.
All right. Good work.
Good job, Chloe. Chloe rode her bike, everyone.
And yours.
Chloe rides a bicycle. He rides a bicycle.
Okay, so I am mostly towards the fact that global warming is most likely a cycle. I'm mostly reasoned, not through facts. But global warming surely is a controversial topic. It, should it be real, could possibly ruin the planet. It could melt the ice, ruin the planet with the ice caps, and thicken the atmosphere, trapping heat. So suppose humans did begin to stop using gas. This would result in a great loss in the economy because drilling would have to be stopped. Besides this, though, if humans began to entirely stop heating the earth by removing all gases, such as CO2, wouldn't it eventually evolve into global cooling? Wouldn't there be another ice age? This is why I believe we should take some precautions in switching to energy-efficient items, such as light bulbs, but not completely switch off gas. Also, Al Gore said that we're at record highs, but what about the Industrial Revolution? We were carelessly pumped out materials such as CO2 and methane during those times, but now we have so much restrictions, I don't see how that would be possible. Those are the reasons that I believe that global warming is decided.
T-Wag!
Let's
go, T-Wag. T-Wag swagger.
Ben, go for it.
Okay. I'd like to talk to you today about a very controversial topic called global warming. I would like to get the ball rolling with a simple question. My question to you is what evidence, and please be specific, how humans are showing an impact when these patterns have happened over 38 times since 1900, when there are so many other variables to consider right now. I have found two very interesting hypotheses that I have found very interesting that can be considered as very probable projections. Global cooling is an interesting arrival at this idea, stating that global warming is a false assumption. One website I found very interesting, which is climatecooling.org, that data collected such as pictures from the Russians' launch of Sputnik 1 in 1959, and calculations done very basically with motor mechanics, slide rules, and good Herman Hollerith programming punch cards, came up with statistics that the world would drop into a major cooling period by 2000. Recent data has shown that NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, or GISS, has shown ice cap growth rapidly in the past 10 years. Were the Russians right in a way? Well, according to the different resources we have, we can in a way say yes. Another probable or a plausible idea is sunspots. According to the Huffington Post Science section, the first caption is titled, "Sun activity to peak with solar maximum in 2013, scientists say." Can this give us a glare into the future? Can anyone answer my question? Because I believe this is just a cycle. And thank you for taking the time to listen.
Thank you for taking your time. That was nice.
Some people think that global warming is just cyclical and is all natural and there's nothing you can do about it. Others think that global warming is attributed to human activity, and the less CO2 that we give off, then the less global warming there will be. Overall, I think that global warming is a natural cycle. There are many things that show that global warming is a natural cycle, and there is no immediate problem with it. According to the article How Global Warming Works, plants and animals will adapt to the subtle shifts in weather patterns, and it is unlikely that anything catastrophic will happen as a result of global warming. So even if global warming is attributed to human activity, the plants and animals will adapt to changes like they have done before in history. The article How Global Warming Works also states, they, as in most scientists, also argue that the economic damage caused by cutting down on the emission of greenhouse gases will be far more damaging to humans than any of the effects of global warming. That statement shows that there is no immediate need to cut down CO2 emissions because that will be more harmful to us than the changes caused by global warming, because like other plants and animals, we will adapt to the changes. As another thing that shows that global warming, also known as climate change, is cyclical, is one thing that the article Global Warming an Overview says. The article states, many see warmer temperature as a part of normal fluctuations that occur over long periods of time. That sentence shows that a lot of people think that it is just a cycle, and there is a very strong chance that a lot of those people are scientists who study that for a living. As explained, global warming is a natural cycle that doesn't have an immediate danger to humans, animals, or plant life because they will adapt. Some people may think that global warming is attributed to human activity, and human activity might have a small effect on the Earth, but I believe that global warming is a natural cycle.
Shows
That's
that
scary.
we have, like, most countries have.
That's a small sample size.
Hey, what happened?